Hi! It has been a long time since I did my last hair video, and much learning has happened since then. I thought I'd come here and give you guys 8 more hairstyles, and this time, no blank mannequin heads, just bald portraits awaiting for their hair transplants, and from interesting angles too. Some might ask, so here are the tools I'm using for this demonstration. Just my graph gear pencil, any pencil will work, and erasers. I also use a smudge tool here and there, and just regular paper. Just keeping it very simple, just like last time, very accessible. So yeah, let's just get straight into the video. So for our first example, I'm going to be doing some boho braids. It's really just like pick and drop. Basically, it's partially braided up to a point and then it just kind of flows. It's just loose hair. So yeah, to begin, we're going to need a parting guide. This is just basically the path our braids will follow, or rather emerge from. From the center of each squares is where our braids will emerge from. It also doesn't have to be a square. You could also make like a triangle. It looks cool, but let's just keep it simple today. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of map out the parting onto her head. Let's just sketch in her hairline. Just finding our center line here. When you're making your parts, make sure to not have it be just like straight across. Have it follow like the anatomy of her head. Okay, now that I have my parts done, I'm gonna move on to the braids. So this is like an example of one of these squared parts. We're gonna have the braid coming out from the center, right? So essentially how it is just like, you've got the hair kind of merging at a point. So for the braid itself, again, I'll create a little bit of a guide, and then I kind of go in with like sometimes I like kind of, you can start it off however, you can put a knot there or you can not, but I just start doing a braiding shape. Like this. It's like a zigzag here. I start like halfway through this line, like parallel, and then yeah, kind of build that just like this. It's like a zigzag. You can extend the lines here and then kind of connect it, or you can kind of simplify it and just do something like that. And now we just kind of plot that onto our model here. To start, I do kind of like to kind of give a overall like outline of how I want the hair to lay. Just something very rough. And now I'm gonna start kind of individually putting out little braid structures that I can build off of. And I'm working kind of light, but I will go in later to kind of darken things up and make it more bolder. And like I said, these will be dropped and just be like wavy hair, I think. So I'm gonna just start adding the details of the braid, and I'm gonna erase some of these parts so I don't get confused. This can get quite tedious, so you're gonna have to be patient. that's basically this one done. And as you can see, like some of the braids, it's gonna cover those below. I don't feel the need to go in and like try and add so much detail to every individual braid because I'm lazy, but it gives the illusion of the hairstyle that I'm going for, so I'm fine with that. I added in some loose bits, as you saw, just like in between the actual braided part before it officially drops. Let's move on to the next. Now, I'm just imagining him with some locks and he's just got them freshly retwisted, and then as a style on top he's done some barrel twists, and that's what I'm gonna attempt to do. Yeah, with a lot of these styles, a lot of it is really just parting, just getting the base correct. So yeah, much like this one, I'm just gonna divide this up into parts, and I always start with the middle. So with like a barrel twist, the idea is basically you have, let's do a very rough thing. The idea is you're basically doing kind of like a crisscross motion, and you're taking individual pieces of locks and you're twisting it into kind of the center point, and it just gets wider as you add more and more hair. Something like you start off with 2 and it's like a twist, and then you kind of keep adding more. And it kind of just, this midsection here, it just grows and grows. Like it starts off small and it kind of gets wider. You'll see as I start. Let's just start. Don't overthink it, just start. Hold on. Just now realizing I haven't finished the part. Okay. I'm gonna have him have, I think, I want to say 4 pieces. I think that would fit. So I'm thinking one shape kind of here. I'm just gonna draw the shapes in. No, hold on. I should pay attention to the parting if I want this to be more believable. Which I do want some believability with my hairstyles, but it doesn't have to be 100%. It is just a drawing, but the closer it is to real life, the more satisfying it is for me. So let me just redo that. You'll need at least like 2 sections for a piece. So let me just kind of behind his ear like that. That's these 2 here, and then for here I'm thinking he has some length to his hair, so I'm gonna add the endings of that, which is usually just like rubber banded, something like that. So this is the rough shape, and already you can kind of see it coming together, so that's reassuring. I'm gonna lightly remove some of the parts just so I can, again, have an easier time with just drawing it in. I'm gonna have it be, it starts from here. Just gonna come down like this, and then a piece here, and it goes across. This is gonna be kind of tricky to explain because low-key I do struggle with this, so I'm always going to keep trying to get this right. But I essentially just try and do like a crossbody situation, and I try to keep in mind the parts, have it just emerge from the center of a part into that midsection thing, so it feels a bit more realistic, believable. I think that's what really sells it. Making sure you have the shape right and the crossing, and then also keeping the parts there. Again, I'm just making sure that I have a lock emerging from the center of a part, and I'm crossing it over, and I'm letting them kind of overlap each other slightly. Okay, it's coming together. Okay. And this is definitely a hairstyle that I just find complicated to draw. I really have to sit down and kind of think about it, and I get lazy so quickly. I guess it'll be 5. 1, 2, 3. There'll be one here and then one on that side. Yeah. Yeah. This is a finished product. I'm a big fan of how this looks. This is one of my favorite hairstyles. It looks so intricate when you take the time to really focus on those parts. That's that done. On to the next. Okay, so for this babe, we're gonna give her stitch braids. Stitch braids, they're basically like cornrows, except they have that stitch look. Say this was, hold on. Say these are braids, right? Let's say it's curled. And this is like the scalp. And these are like your braids, okay? Then with the stitch braids, you've got these lines kind of running through it. But there's more of a stitched appearance. I think you know what I mean, but honestly, it's just better if I just just draw it. So with stitch braids, oh, you could do a lot with that. Like there's so many designs to attempt, but first, as usual, we start off with kind of figuring out our hairline. I'm going to leave a little bit of space here, also here. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and section this. With this, there's no boxes. It's just the general shape of each braid. Just making sure to leave enough space in between so I can have more room to show off the stitch. Now, I'm gonna start off with the braids. I make sure that it's small from the beginning and then widens as it gets further back. I've got the braids detailed. Now I'm gonna go in and do the stitches. Okay. It seems like it's, okay, let's have our braid out here. It seems like it comes from out of this piece. I don't know what you call that, but yeah, I'm just looking at some references here, some photos, which you should be looking at too. Like, you're not gonna be able to draw this if you don't know how it looks. I fear that's obvious, but you know, I'm just saying that again so you guys know. We can make it as detailed as you want it to be, but I'm just looking to get just the look of it. I'm not too bothered if it isn't 100%, but knowing how it's done can help increase just the believability of it more. So yeah, if you have the patience, try it. I'm also trying to leave some space for the part that goes here, and yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a tight squeeze, but I think I can make it work. Like this. Oh, that's on your face. body reveal. Hello. Okay, I was thinking I kind of want to do like a hybrid of this, but like with something else. Maybe up to about the crown, it's the braids, it's flat, and then like in the back it drops into something else. So it could be twists. Let's just see what happens when I start drawing. In case you're not following along, it's just curves. Pretend that's like the beginning. Underneath, and I get them to link up. Make the shape so it's easier to follow, and also just making it more consistent. Ooh, right over. So yeah, that's this done. The idea was just like stitch braids and finish it off with like a Senegalese twist kind of vibe going on. Okay, more. So up next, we are going to attempt to do some freeform locks. I'm thinking kind of shorts, kind of still in that early stage. My idea was something like this, just a very quick doodle. And what I'm gonna do is, as you can see, section off the hair into large chunks and then have them break off into smaller sections to kind of represent the locks that are like forming. Like some front pieces. My goal for this is just to keep it looking just kind of very natural and organic. I don't want it to feel styled, so I'm just keeping it random, playing with shapes and just having fun. Everyone's freeform locks are gonna look different. Locks in general, they're always gonna look different, so. I'm trying to make sure that the roots aren't going to be visible. I just want it to be just like thick, undefined hair in this area. Let me get my eraser involved. Maybe I have like a piece kind of hanging off. Ooh, it's coming together, it's coming together. Maybe I can try and show some of his hair texture, like that 4C hair texture, by like adding some fuzz. I think I'm basically done with this one. I think I managed to make it look very free, very unmanicured, you know, just free forms, organic, going with the flow. Yeah, thumbs up. For this one, I'm thinking I want to do locks again, But this time I want them to be, I want it to be like there was a twist out, so it's like curly, and I want the roots also to not be like retwisted. I want it to be like something like, I don't know, 3 months plus of new growth. So the middle of his face is like somewhere here. I'm gonna create some height. I think I'll give him like a middle part. I'm trying to imagine that these are like freshly released, like maybe he just took down his twist out. You know what I mean? And they will be similar to each other. I imagine he was neat with his twisting, so they are going to be pretty much the same thickness and the same consistency. You know, when you take it out, oop, hopefully you get the idea. They're gonna be like next to identical, basically. Does that visual help? So I think we're done. I filled it in with some pencil. I think it just, you can read it better. But yeah. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to be doing a fro of tight curls, 4C. But with the fro, what I'm gonna try and do is to just, again, prioritize shapes. Kind of think of like, almost like a cloud. Kind of think of it as like one shape made up of different sections, and these sections are kind of overlapping. They're just kind of creating some shadows, and that's gonna be like the very loose kind of general idea of how I'm gonna approach this. I intend for the hair to kind of cover a bit of her forehead, so I'm not really gonna bother with a hairline. I'm just gonna start off really broad, big shapes, and kind of work them into smaller sections. I'm thinking of it as bits and pieces kind of emerging out, and they're clumped together and kind of smushed. What's fun about afros is that you can really do whatever. Like, I don't know, there doesn't have to be any like strict rules. It doesn't really obey the laws of, what is it? Gravity much? I don't know. Just play around with it. Let me introduce my eraser and kind of help visualize this better. I'm gonna create some shadows just to make it look more 3D. Let's bring that down. Yeah, I'm just adding some more like harsher shadows, I guess, to just kind of push the depth. Is that the right word? You can go like pretty extreme or You know, as crazy as you want to with the shape. Yeah, you can just really come up with some really fun looks with this hair type. It's really fun to do. But I think I'm done with this. So for this guy, I'm thinking Bantu knots, but like with a bit of a fade situation going on. Yeah, let's do that. So with Bantu knots, it's basically just a portion of hair wrapped around itself like a knot. Try and sketch it out. And pretend this is like a square on a scalp. It could be, who knows, it could be a twist, it could just be a braid. But it's just a piece of hair and can wrap it around itself. It's whatever it is, it's essentially just a collection of hair wound in on itself like a knot and fixed that way, maybe with a rubber band or something. I'm gonna do my parts. Okay. I think I'm just gonna go straight with making the shapes, the Bantu shapes. Now I'm gonna just start detailing the knots. My hand hurts. And this is the final result for these Bantu knots. I'm really happy with what I was able to do here. I think they look good. I think they look like Bantu knots. So I'm satisfied with it. And that is all the hairstyles that I have for you today. I tried to show a good mix of styles, as well as just selecting looks that I've been seeing a lot these days in real life and on social media. Honestly, if I tried to draw all of our styles, I think I'd be here forever. The list is truly endless and I'm seeing new looks pop up every day. You can get so creative and just remix things, and I tried to be as clear as I could with the construction of these looks, and I hope it was easy to follow along with. I hope these demonstrations have made attempting these hairstyles more approachable if you were hesitant before. Yeah, I really am just still trying to learn different ways to best depict black hair. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye!